Someone says, what's the feature? Vaughn Coleman.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome.
Lights, camera, action. Lights, camera, action.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to yet another episode of Vaughn Coleman Presents. Turns out streaming to Twitter is actually a really good idea. Which I didn't I remember I was watching a YouTube show and someone was like, we got 200 people watching. I'm like, there's like 5 of us in the chat. It's like, no, on Twitter. I'm like, it hadn't really occurred to me. So I've been doing that. It's a great idea. It's a great thing. And so whether you're watching on Twitter or you're watching on YouTube or X, X is a stupid name. I'm sorry. It's a dumb name. And it's a dumb logo too. Twitter was iconic. Regardless, wherever you're watching, I hope you're enjoying the show. And before we get into the show itself and bring on our guest, I got to show myself. And so I want to talk about my comic book, Phenomenova. So Phenomenova is set 20 years after World War III and follows this boy right here. He is named Miles Hanksley and is the son of a World War III veteran who is struck by lightning while holding a mysterious crystal. And after awakening with lightning powers mixed with super speed, he decides he wants to be like his heroic father and all the brave superheroes that fought during the war. And so he puts on a makeshift costume and sets out, but finds himself in way over his head, fighting villains totally out of his league when he tries to intervene with a heist at a nuclear reactor. And so if you're interested in that at all, the comic itself is going to be launching on April 19th. If you want updates, go ahead and sign up for the mailing list, because when you back a physical tier, mailing list subscribers will be able to get this exclusive free trading card. And I didn't realize this until yesterday when I was calculating printing costs. That shit's expensive, man. I had no idea these little ass trading cards, they're pricey. But you will get them free, because I'm a man of my word, if you're on the mailing list and if you back at day one on April 19th. Also, be on the lookout. I don't know if I could share it on air yet, but we have there is going to be an exclusive, campaign exclusive Final Fantasy VII homage cover that is just about done. Maybe I'll even show a sneak peek at the end of the stream. We'll see. But anyway, check out this website. You could go to rebeloasisstudios.com, or, you could just go to the link in the description. And without further ado, that's enough about me, guys. Oh, sorry. One more thing, because we have an artist here I want to show off. We do have an art contest. The rules are all right here on this website. All you have to do is use the hashtag PhenomenOvaFanArt, follow all of these instructions, and if you win, the winning piece will be printed in the final book. So I hope to see you guys all participating. And without further ado, let's bring in our guest of honor, shall we? How you doing, Arialla?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing well. But I pronounced your name right?
Yes. Actually,
Okay.
That's one of the first times I usually get Ariella or Arialla. I'm like, hello?
Wait, it was Arialla? It was?
Yeah, Arialla.
Okay. Yeah, that's what
Anyway,
I thought. Well, I thought
if
there'd
it's-
be an E if it was Ella, right?
Exactly.
Right.
If it's too much, I do say Ari is okay as well.
Oh, Ari? No, I mean, either way is fine. Whatever you prefer. But I got it, yeah.
Yeah, hi. Hi, everybody.
How's it going? How's the morning treating you?
It's doing great. Well, it's great after coffee, but it's still okay.
I'm mid-coffee, but it's
Yeah.
decent. It's decent.
Exactly. No, I'm doing pretty good. I like the art that you were showing. I think comic book art is probably like one of my favorite like genres to get into. I love.
Oh, really? Have you ever
comic.
considered doing that?
I actually did a cover for a comic book last year, I believe.
Oh,
So
really?
that was really fun. Yeah, it was the first time I did that. It was interesting.
That's really cool. What was it?
Oh goodness. I remember the character, but I'm so bad I remember titles. But I
Yeah.
could DM it to you
All right.
another day. But it was really fun.
That's cool. Yeah, maybe I'll have to get you to do something at some point.
Sounds good.
So I found you, obviously. So I'm gonna call it the what did I call it in the MCU yesterday? I think the Tifa Bikini Boom, I believe is what I called it.
Yes. When everybody got excited about Tifa in her memorable bikini.
Dude, it was such an incredible thing. I remember I don't even remember what was going on in my main life But like whatever, I'd scroll my timeline. It was just nonstop, just Tifa and this. The game wasn't even out yet.
Yes, exactly. It was
just
she,
Tifa in the
she,
bikini.
she marketed it better than Square Enix did at that point.
Oh yeah, Square Enix. Yeah, I mean that's the best advertising they could have done with the game, and it was. I mean, I was already buying it, but I think a lot of people. I think a lot of people genuinely bought the game for that reason.
I think I personally am like a huge Final Fantasy fan. 7 and 9 are my biggest like ones I say I love the most. They're kind of neck and neck, but after playing Remake and Rebirth, 7 might be getting a little higher there. So I was already on my way to getting Rebirth, but I did have some friends that didn't know the game. And they'd be like, "Oh, I saw your art," and people kept posting that video after it, and I had to buy the game. And
That's awesome.
so funny.
That's nuts. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to remember which specific piece because you do so much, and I started following like a lot of Tifa fan art accounts after, but
You have good taste.
yeah, I do. Listen, Tifa, I'm a big fan. I don't know where. Hold on. There's like an art print I have. I have like a few art prints when I'm at conventions. Tifa. She's like my favorite. I mean, Final Fantasy. So I've only gotten into Final Fantasy 7. I haven't gotten into the ones I know generally that are recommended the highest to me outside of 7 because I want to play 7. I've played Crisis Core. The PSP one I played on PC, which I don't recommend, by the way. And then they announced a new one right after I was done with it. I was like, are you kidding me? The controls are so bad. The combat, anyway. The final boss was insufferable in that game.
Oh no,
it was so bad. Have you played it?
Yeah, well, like I feel like with me is that Final Fantasy kind of like grew on me from a young age. I have 2 older brothers, and they are huge RPG nerds. And we all connected with 7 first. So like playing all the games and even the insufferable like bosses and everything is just so like but 16, like when I played it, it felt almost surreal how the boss battles made you sweat.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, like I don't know, like maybe I'm the only one who felt that way, but I felt like I was fighting for my life. And so like as you're putting yourself as Clive, it really like sunk in that this is like the battle that you could lose, that you can die for, and it's just incredible. I do like 16 a lot. I actually think that if people are going to get into Final Fantasy, I always recommend 10.
10?
Because 10 is such a like almost soothing, complete game that you can really relate to, even if you don't relate to Titus in general. Like Yuna is such a good like heroine in the game that you just want to root for her.
Gotcha. I've been told the ones I've been told to play. So 16, is that worth playing then? Should I add that to my list?
Yeah, like 16. So it has its own way of telling the story that really heavily focuses on Clive. Because a lot of times you do focus on other characters in other Final Fantasies, but this one is like heavily on the main character. So you start putting yourself in his shoes, and it does take you on this emotional roller coaster. And so I recommend it, but I will be Final Fantasy biased though. There are not many Final Fantasies I dislike.
Gotcha. So you played. So I couldn't really get in. That's right. I do remember because I did get 5. You could play, or 15. You could play for free. PS4.
Yeah.
I put a lot of hours into it, but the story didn't grip me like 7 did. Or the gameplay.
Yeah,
like 7 has the like in my review, because I wrote a 49-page video essay that I'm probably going to start editing after this. And I was just analyzing it. And like the opening of that game is so brilliant. Like,
oh my gosh, yes.
One of the things I kind of say this in my review, but I'll say it here. If you tell that, one of the reasons why I explain videos, people are like, oh, I just watched a video on it. That doesn't do it justice, because if you explain the events of that game in chronological order, it is so boring. It is so bad. But if you just like the way it starts, the reactor, and it's like, what's the reactor? What's an ex-soldier? What's Shinra? And then it introduces it all through the action. I think the way the story unfolds is so brilliant. And then like, what was it? 15 starts with them like on a car.
So the problem I had with 15 is that it is quite the incomplete game. And in order to really understand everything, you had to watch a little anime that was on YouTube, watch the movie Kingsglaive. By the way, I really love Kingsglaive.
Oh,
Like
is
if
it
you
good?
don't want to play like 15, but you kind of want to embrace the civilization and everything, I really enjoyed Kingsglaive movie a lot. But yes, there is also like a Royal Edition though that has all the DLCs together, which
Mm.
does start put piecing the story of Final Fantasy 15 all together.
I think I do have that. Yeah. I do
Play the
have
Royal
that.
Edition? Yes, I did
Yeah.
actually play the Royal Edition. And yeah, it was 15 was a fun experience. Like it's like an experience with the boys, like having a good moment with Noctis and his friends and
Yeah.
realizing the rise and fall of a kingdom. It's very emotional when you get into that aspect, but it isn't one of my favorites. It is a good Final Fantasy, but yeah.
Gotcha. And I want to say hi to everyone in the chat real quick before we continue, because
Oh
otherwise I'll neglect them.
hey!
Hey, Han.
Hey
You
Han!
got all you got a lot of fans.
Moira!
Moira. And we got Bam. It's very high
Aw,
praise from Bam.
thank you, Bam!
Yeah, I mean the Final Fantasy VII there's so many talented artists. That was part of why I started getting into it. I find that I'm trying to avoid. It's a weird time because I'm now getting into that community, but I'm also suppressing spoilers because I have not finished the new game.
Yeah, I had to meet a lot before getting into Reaver, but I actually haven't been in the Twitter art community for a long time. And it's only been about 2-3 years, but everybody has been so welcoming and so sweet, and I just love seeing all the different types of art styles on my timeline. Um, like I have like Sophia, she's a really good like scenario kind of like artist that really dives deep into the Cloud and Tifa relationship. Also have like Strawberry, who likes to make little Strawberry ST. Sorry, she has like a lot of art that is kind of more like homey and it feels really comfortable. There's Azazel that she also is from. Her and we talk ships all the time. But yeah, there's a lot of like beautiful artists that I've met, even for things that I'm not 100% with. Like if there's some ships that I don't exactly like, I can still appreciate the beautiful art and the passion that these people have behind what they draw. It's so sweet.
Yeah, I love seeing Tifa. That clip ignited a lot of passion. And seeing like genuinely, there's something as weird as it sounds. Like seeing this chick in a bikini inspired so many people to just start drawing, and posting their love for the game, and that was actually kind of nice.
Yeah, I think that's one of my favorite things of when a game comes out, specifically some kind of Final Fantasy, is how awesome the art community responds to it. I'm slow. I feel like I respond like weeks later, but seeing like all of my friends or my timeline filled with beautiful artwork is just like of something that I thoroughly love. It just feels so like wonderful. It's like a beautiful community coming together to make beautiful art.
I see just when I see other creators posting their stuff, it does inspire me to get back to work on mine, and gives me the energy to carry on. I think that's generally the case with a lot of creators.
Oh yeah, it's not just artists, it's content, any content creator.
Yeah.
Like I watch like I have Aru that I watch, I have Maximilian that I watch. There's just so many like also my brother, he hasn't done it a lot lately, but my older brother, he's Small Sprite. He actually did a lot of videos for things coming out. There's just so many wonderful people out there that just share their passion in such a way that it always inspires me too.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. And I want to address this comment real quick because this is an important comment before we get back to everything we were talking about. So someone asked me if I started with the remake or the original. I was actually told by a friend, play the original first, and I am so glad I did, and I recommend everyone else does that because
it's so great.
It's that, and it's also, this is my opinion, is that remake is very frustrating game to me because when it's great, it is really great, but there's still stuff that they add in that I hate. When it complements the original, I like it. When it contradicts the original, I'm not as big of a fan, especially when it, like the ending. I hate the ending of remake. I I think that like the whole subverting destiny thing, like, because it goes against what the original game is about. Because the original game was about embracing destiny and understanding that the planet. It's like a very spiritual game. I think the original, and it's
Yes.
about embracing destiny, embracing your planet, and Aerith's journey is at the center of that. And for
Yeah.
her to describe the ending of the original as a bad ending is such a slap in the face to the original, because the whole point is that it's a hopeful ending of the original game, that despite
Yeah.
all the tragedy. And so when I played that, I remember being really angry because it felt like it was really weird, because I know Tetsuya Nomura worked on the original game, but it feels like he's so far removed that maybe he doesn't see the beauty in what was.
So with Nomura, to go on that thought, he's actually not the only one in charge. I know a lot of people like to go like, "Oh, he Nomura fight it," he
Right.
Kingdom Hearts fight it. But actually, the main scenario writer was Nojima, and he's been in the role for Final Fantasy for a long time, alongside Nomura. And I think also there's two others that I don't want to screw up their names, but yeah. And there's basically a four-man team trying to build this masterpiece back into the modern era, and they really want to highlight things for old and new people. Because it's funny, I had the same knee-jerk reaction when I first played Remake, that I was like, "Oh my god," like, I'm, like, crying, looking at Midgar. I'm like, "This is how childhood
Yeah.
me was like looking at everything," and but now it's real. And then the ending felt so weird to me. I was like, "No, this is so dumb. Like, what are they doing? Like, I'm fighting Kadaj, Laz, and Yazoo here. What is happening?"
Oh, that's right. You do. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like it felt so weird. And then you play, spoilers for who haven't started Rebirth but finished Intergrade. You see Zach is well and
Yeah.
good, and it's just like, what is happening? So
Yeah.
I think at first it did take me by surprise, and I was upset. But as like the inclination of things started like happening, I was like, I get it now. They really do want to surprise people who have played the OG, because if it's just a copy paste of the original, sometimes that could be excessively boring.
See,
So no, and I know there are people that
Yeah.
are like, but I just want to copy paste. And I'm like, I do too, and that's fine. And they do that in a lot of the scenarios. Like, I did feel like Midgar was pretty one for one, as opposed to, other than some like whisper stuff here and there.
yeah.
It did feel one for one. But
I
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, but it's also, you have to understand that the original game is not accessible to most people, and I think the original story is like, for example, there are scenes that they add, like a lot of this goes into specifics, so I'm trying to be vague,
You're
but like
good.
the president, the scene with the president, right, is so much more when Sephiroth goes after the president is so much more effective in the original because it's
Oh, it
minimalist.
is. Yeah, that was like, I will say that there are notions that I appreciate 100% more in the OG than I do in the remake trilogy. Well, the first Rebirth and remake, and that just felt very mysterious and spooky.
Yeah,
Like, there is a scene in remake where you're in the cells and you've been caught, and then you're supposed to be following this massacre that happened in Shinra.
yeah,
In the OG, the music was so spooky, everything
Mhm.
was so like, you were just caught off guard of what's happening. In the remake, it was so it like didn't give me the same impact, because
yeah,
the blood that was there was like this goop. And so I was like,
yeah. That's
I
right.
gotta I gotta follow goop now. Like, I can't
Yeah.
follow blood. Like, I get that they want a teen rating, but maybe they could have shown it a little bit spookier. I don't know. But it
Yeah.
just, that part didn't seem scary to me. And I felt like in the OG, following Sephiroth was both like honorable and scary. And I didn't get that anymore when following him. Like, it just felt like more like, all right, what did he do now? Let's go deal with it.
Yeah. Yeah, Sephiroth, I mean, he has such a perfect villain introduction in the original, and the problem is that by introducing him, he shouldn't have been in remake at all, in my opinion. He should
Yeah.
have been in but I haven't gotten to the end of Rebirth.
Yeah, I was
I'm-
gonna
I'm-
say they explain a lot about what's happening, and so I can't really say anything.
Yeah, I know. I should have you on again once I finish it to talk about it.
Yes. Would love a theory
Yeah.
crafting.
That would be really fun. Yeah, we could get a group together. Man, I don't know. I guess I'll have to wait. I did finish the bikini part of the game, and it was
Nice.
sad. It was sad to depart, but I
It's
used full.
okay.
Yeah.
In
So
New
I'm
Game
gonna get
Plus, you
out.
can put them in that.
Really? All right, I gotta
Yes.
finish this game.
And also, whenever you go back to Costa, you can just change to
Yeah.
those outfits.
All right,
Um,
good to know. Good to
yeah,
know.
and so going back to like how we felt about OG, I actually have a couple of friends who started the Final Fantasy Saga at remake, and others who are OGs like us. And I've
Yeah.
actually heard so many mixed ideas from both that it was very fascinating
Mhm.
because they're like, wow, the remake's the best thing I ever played. And, the ones that started at remake and have no idea what is coming. And then the OG people kind of feel the same, but they both also have like negatives to say about it, but different negatives. So I think it's just interesting how Square Enix did kind of complement OG people and new people. So it's crazy that they can actually do that.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I definitely understand that. I think my favorite part of remake probably, and I think the game shines with moments like this. And I think that rebirth, what I really like is there have been a lot of great Tifa and Cloud moments.
Oh my
And I
gosh,
would have
my
played so far.
babies.
And like the moment of them in the garden, I think is one of the best, maybe the best moment in the entire remake. Where he's
Yeah.
holding
Oh
her.
man.
That's like probably my favorite moment. It's touching. I think that
They
one of
need a
the
touch.
yeah. So I guess I wanted to ask you then, getting into it, what is Tifa your favorite character?
So, yes, and this is gonna sound like so obsessive, but I've loved her since I was like really little. I always felt like I was different from other girls. I know that's gonna sound so dumb. But like in the aspect of I didn't like wearing pink, I didn't like going and doing all these like overly feminine things in order to get like a guy. But like I always felt like kind of like Wonder Woman and Chun Li, like those really like strong women that can still have feminine qualities. And Tifa was like that whole bundle because not only were her and I very shy and very almost meek to everyone as we were children and grew to gain strength from that, but I also lost a lot in my life too. And seeing her accept loss and appreciate that around her just made me resonate with her a lot. So yeah, I will say she is my favorite character in the whole series. But funny enough, she isn't like my favorite. My when I was little, I actually had the hugest crush on Sephiroth.
Oh wow!
And I have actually more merch of Sephiroth than I do Tifa. And it's
Really?
funny. Yes, I don't know. It's just again, I grew up with two older brothers, so all we did was watch anime and play video games. And like, those white-haired characters, it's just like they hit different.
I'll take your word for it. I don't know.
But Tifa is definitely like kind of that personification of what I wanted to feel as a person through growth, especially after experience a lot of loss.
Yeah, I'm so sorry to hear that. That's why I like Tifa. I think you summed up the character so well in that, especially with the whole thing where she's like kind of a tomboy, right? But she's also still very feminine. I think that's one of the things I
It's
like.
the mommy. It's the mommy instincts. She's
a little bit. I mean, they
she's
do.
a motherly character where like she wants to take care of everyone around her because she's afraid of losing it again.
Yeah,
And she'll fight to tooth and nail for it. Like you saw, I'm sure people have seen Advent Children. Holy crap, the length she went through, especially for Cloud to listen to her of saying like, "Hey, I lost things too. Like this is hard. It's been hard for me too." And
Cloud was such an asshole in that movie. Like I couldn't stand him. I thought I rewatched Advent Children. I personally think the English voice acting for Tifa isn't great.
I personally adore Britt Baron more, but
she's
I can
much better.
appreciate
Britt Baron is perfect as Tifa. Like the casting is so good. I think I like. I mean, it's no coincidence that the first time you see her, she's babysitting Marlene, right? Like that's a deliberate choice by the creators.
The creators said that they wanted the first interaction you have with Tifa to be a soothing moment in your path.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
and it's perfect. I think she's, and I think, yeah, that's one of the many reasons I like her. Like the thing is, like, okay, she's hot, but like there's more to her than that. She's the fighting.
Exactly.
Her gameplay is so good. She's my
Oh my
favorite
God.
character to play.
Same. She's my stagger queen.
Yeah, it's that. I love. I got the what's the second? So it's if you do Unbridled Rage twice, what is it? It's Rise and Fall, and it like instant kills anything. I love it. It's so. I love how fast her gameplay is. Then you back up and you go in. It's like I like my disc. Cloud is like the all around. Then it's like my close up is Tifa, and then I'll use like Barrett or. I mean, I guess I try and use everybody. But
Yeah.
okay, so outside of Tifa, who are your favorite characters in the party?
My
Wait.
wait. Well, I can't have them in the party.
Yeah, so I'm saying the party member.
So as for I have this love for Team Avalanche. I feel like
Mhm.
the Avalanche trio are just such a they seem very found family to me, and
Oh,
they just
yeah.
are so welcoming to others that want to come in and also help the cause, but also just want to appreciate everyone around them. Barrett, I will say, surprised me the most in Rebirth. I already love I'm not gonna spoil anything, but I
Yeah, I'm about
already
to get to
loved
Pharrell.
yeah, I already loved him as a character, as a strong father who really wanted to take care of what, again, the same thing of like taking care of loss, taking care of people around him, and also making sure that the planet is healthy enough so they can continue living in this beautiful world. But he actually destroyed me in this game. It's like I was already destroyed in the OG, but yeah, it's there's just so many wonderful characters though. Um I feel like it's probably underrated and not really part of the main cast, I'd say, but Zach is one of my favorite
Zach's
characters.
great.
I played Crisis Core, the old PSP version,
Oh yeah,
and then I played Crisis Core Reunion when it came out.
I'm sure it was
And
fun on a PSP on a mouse and keyboard. It was a really dreadful experience.
well, they
honestly.
actually changed so many qualities of life. Like for example, when you're doing the what do you call those reels on the side, the DMWs or whatever,
Yeah.
they actually could not be skipped on the PSP version.
Oh,
So
I know.
so it was really nice that I could actually skip them. But Zach, after because I played that as a child, so replaying it as an adult, it just felt like I just appreciate that character more. And his love for Aerith, just like it shines through so much, and I just really want everything to like good to happen to him.
Yeah. That was really cool. I like Crisis Core. Yeah, someone said Crisis Core is such a good game. Yeah.
It is. It is like it's an undeveloped beauty because there are moments where it's just like, oh my god, shut up, Genesis. But then there are moments where you just want to
Yeah, I
do
didn't really
everything
care
you
for
can.
Genesis.
Oh god, like his design, and I do love Gact, the one that voices him and does the song. But yeah, Genesis got on my nerves. Like, shut up, dude. I'm trying to kill you.
It was just I didn't really see some of it. I mean, of course there's some great moments in that game, like the I think me going gaga, that is like I don't know. I think that
Yeah.
meme- hang on, I have it clipped. Hold on
Me?
a second.
Oh god. I like
Right
both
here.
versions.
Me? Gungaga.
I do love both versions. I love Rick Gomez, and I do like oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I know it's something Caleb Pierce. I'm sorry. So Caleb, I didn't like him all that much in Reunion, but he does do like 10 times better in Rebirth.
Oh, does he?
But
Okay.
I feel like Rick Gomez is just an amazing voice actor, but the cadence that Caleb has for kind of like that shonen protagonist matches Zach more to me. But yeah, he does do 10 times better in Rebirth, and I was excited for that.
I guess I'm gonna have to
Hi,
get back to the wait, which one was Grim? Oh, Grim is here. Which one was Grim?
It looks like Krata. Sorry, he's like shined on the on the thing for a second there.
Okay. Oh, that was probably I probably should highlight him. Yeah, I
He
mean,
said the thing.
so I wanted to because I could gush about Final Fantasy, and something tells me to probably
Yes.
talk again. But I did want to ask because you're an artist, what got you into drawing?
So I was a pretty lonely kid. And so like a lot of times I would just kind of go into my own head and create these fantasies of things that I enjoyed. And the only way that I knew how to enjoy them was through art. My mom said that I had even like those really bad, like 10 cents, like line paper books, I would just like doodle things in it. And she just let me. She's like, she knew that things were hard. So she just let me continue to doodle and find a pace in my life that could be sufficient enough where I felt complete. And as I started getting older, I started asking for better things, more materials. And even if we didn't have much, she still kept giving me things. And so I did start doing a lot of traditional work, trying to draw paintings and trying to draw like sculptures. But yeah, then as I went on and played Final Fantasy, I noticed the character art for it was just so beautiful. I loved
Mhm.
Yoshitaka Amano and his more ethereal like design of it. And it felt like I was in his world and felt like I was in the world of Final Fantasy. So I did a lot of fan art and I did a lot of like original characters from my own kind of like personal world that I wanted to create.
That's
So
awesome. That's really cool. So you design original characters then? Is like that are you planning on doing anything with those stories or
So actually, yes, when I first started, Moira's right. Yes, I did start drawing. It was so weird. Let me let me go to your question first, and then I'll answer Moira.
yeah.
But yeah, so I do have original characters. Actually, when I first started on Twitter, I had my character Arialla. That's where the name comes from,
Oh.
and I drew her a lot. And but then the first time I ever drew Tifa as like Makoto from Persona 5, that's when my profile kicked off and I was like, "Who are you people?" And so I kind of started backseating my original ideas, but not like a bad thing, but more like
Yeah.
because of the interest and the people I've met, it was like a magical moment for me. It felt really like nice to have people that really saw the world the same way I did, especially for my favorite character like Tifa.
Yeah.
And
No,
yeah, with the legs up, yes. Other than Final Fantasy, my other big love is Legend of Zelda.
oh,
And
me too. I love Zelda.
isn't it so great? It's
Yeah.
it's such a comfy game. Like it doesn't have to have the best.
Here we go.
Yes, I
My highlight.
have those.
Yeah, I'm a
And
big
so
fan.
the first drawing I ever made was actually Link from Ocarina of Time from
Oh,
our it was our player's guide that we had when I was a kid. And I drew his boots and made my way up. And my brother was watching me like, "What is this?" I'm like, "I don't know, man."
I love Zelda. That's so cool. Yeah, Ocarina is my favorite. Ocarina, Majora's Mask. Those are my two favorites. Love,
Nice.
I love
Yes.
Hero of Time. Um, Man, I mean those games are great. Do you have the timeline? I need to finish that game too. I'm after I finish FF7 Rebirth. I'm gonna get back to Tears of the Kingdom. I've been playing them
Nice.
slowly because I've been working. On
Yeah.
stuff, but
It's just so many games. They don't let us breathe.
they don't. They don't. So I can't believe it's been like what a year since since Tears of the Kingdom and I
Yeah.
never finished it, and I'm probably gonna be like yeah, I'm ready to talk about it. Everyone's like, we already did, dude.
Yeah,
Like
it's
that's what
like
I'm afraid about with Rebirth too, because I'm afraid I'm taking too long. But knowing that
no.
this community, considering we're still talking about a game that came out 20 something years ago, I feel like I'll be safe if I'm like a month or two late on Rebirth. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah,
don't people like us, like nerds like us, we're gonna be talking about
I
it
was
for probably
gonna
the next 10
say.
years. So
Yeah, like for Final Fantasy 7 in general, I feel like that's just a game that because it's a trilogy, people are just gonna keep talking about it until it comes out. That's what happened with Remake, and that's what's gonna happen with Rebirth.
yeah, yeah. So that's exactly what's gonna happen. Sadly, I need a new Switch. It's been almost a decade. There's no way. Hang on.
Yeah, Breath of the Wild came out forever ago. It's
Wait,
insane.
when did Breath of the Wild? That was 2017, right?
2016 maybe? I'm unsure.
2017. Okay. Holy
2017.
shit. Wait, hang on. 7 years. What happened?
I know. I'm like, I love Tears of the Kingdom, but I really want like another Zelda game like Ocarina of Time and Skyward Sword, well, not the mechanics of Skyward Sword, but definitely the dungeon crawling of both of them. I would love a new one like that.
Most importantly, I want to see a conclusion to. I would feel like we had two games. I want a third Hero of Time. I'm not normally a fan fiction guy, but I've had ideas for fan films for like a Hero of Time third
Yeah.
story, that kind of, because you get, even though I haven't finished Twilight Princess, I played it like a little when I was little, but I couldn't get past the first part because I was an idiot kid. But like I know that you kind of have, what is it, like the spirit of the Hero of Time in that game.
Yeah.
And so I would love to kind of bridge the gap between Majora's Mask and like finish off the Hero of Time story, because the version of it we have is just, you get the impression that it's just a depressing end.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, we could deal with some of that, but let's get a good adventure out of it. So I'd love to do that.
Yeah, that'd be great. I feel like Nintendo's really good at keeping their lore in one place, which it's a little surprising given it's Nintendo. But so it would be nice to expand on like other places, especially the Ocarina and Majora's like landscapes and all that stuff. And even though Breath of the Wild is kind of like what, years in the future version of it, it's just the timeline stuff is pretty fun to like go through, but it can be exhausting because of how many Legend of Zelda games there are. It's kind of like trying to decide how I want to approach Kingdom Hearts. Do I want to approach it chronologically or
Yeah, no, exactly. Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts I never got into, but I understand that game is, from what I understand, it's crazy complicated.
it's so that's a whole nother can of worms, man. That's all I'll say. But I actually am a baby for Kingdom Hearts, but
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Square Enix has me by the chokehold, and I'm very happy about it. Wait, that sounded wrong, but you know what I mean.
No, yeah, I know. I get it. No, I get it.
I'm glad artists like Arialla got to gain fans of her art as artists. You both,
Oh yeah.
you guys feel that there are so many AI artists gain. So when I first saw, especially when somebody stole one of mine, it was
Oh my
really,
God.
yeah, it was really annoying. And I had to contact them. And then they sent me this large paragraph about apologizing. And I said, don't apologize, man. Just take the crap down. I just don't want to see it. And then he's like, oh, but I forgot what it was. And I ended up blocking them. But yeah, at
They
first
didn't take it down?
he did. It ended up getting reported and removed. But yeah, it was at first it was very demoralizing because like I started off with next to nothing of followers and things like that. And once I started kind of realizing it's not about that, because at first you're like, oh my God, here's a follow, here's a like, and you start getting scared if something just isn't exactly what people or the audience that you've made want to see. But originally that wasn't what I wanted either for my platform. It was a place, like I said, to draw like Arialla or original designs. But as it came on and I was just, as the AI art was starting getting more popular, it was really still hitting me hard. Then one of my friends, one of my other artist friends, her name is Kitty, she came over and she says, don't let those people get to you. One, they're thieves. And two, they're probably bots, right? Like they probably like bought all these bots to make their popularity look suddenly skyrocketing and seem cool. And also normal people don't exactly can tell like what's the difference, but little by little they will. And I have seen people fight for real artists nowadays, and I feel like really helps me mentally that yeah, there are still people out there making sure that people like myself and others can be able to shine, even if these AI artists who take 2 seconds to make their things are doing numbers. Like it's just how it is. It's just going to be something that's around for a little bit longer, and we just have to endure it. But soon enough, more and more people will start throwing that gif of like pick up the pencil to everyone else, and it's just that makes me more hopeful, and I'm going to continue to have like that hopeful like feeling.
Yeah, AI art. I'm not a fan. I'll never hire an AI artist personally. I just don't see if I can even call it that. I mean, I'm not.
We call them prompters.
Yeah, that's what they are. That's really what they are. Hold on, I'm trying to find. Yeah, I mean, it's really. I don't personally respect it. I don't think that I would never hire one. Personally.
I appreciate that.
Well, I mean, I also wouldn't want one if I'm being honest with you. I mean, like
They're
I
so
like
ugly.
no, they can't get hands. I think people started joking that like once they get hands is when we start having problems.
To be fair, I have seen. Oh, thank you, Mara. I have seen people, seen AI prompters, get hands, and it's kind of
Oh no,
scary.
we're in
But
the end times.
I think the ones that kind of make me sad are these stories that I hear of this person. Like there was a couple of ones that I saw that a lot of people were telling them don't do it. Was these artists that get frustrated. They're like, my art will never look like this. My art will never do that. So they make their own art and then throw it into the AI generator and
Oh,
create that. And we're saying like, no, you just need a little bit more time. And I
yeah.
have seen some people end up like removing the whole AI process 100%. But there are others that are just like, no, I'm never gonna do this, and it is hard. I will even say myself, I am not like I'm a huge perfectionist when it comes to things that I'm drawing, but even so, there are moments where I'm just like, man, this sucks, and I throw the whole thing out, or I try again, or I'm not satisfied, and that's just also the beauty of it is the perfect imperfections, as they say. It's
Yeah.
okay to be human. It's okay to be upset over the things that you want perfect because you know you can do better. And that's the beauty of it. AI is just going to take what they believe is perfection and make that into whatever amalgamation it turns into. But that's not
Exactly.
you. That's not your character.
That's why people have asked me like as a writer if like I'm threatened by AI. I'm like, hell no. They can't come up
No,
with my ideas.
ChatGPT.
Yeah, but I've had people tell me, and like maybe I would, but they'd be like, oh, you know, like Chat GPT could help you as a writer, and I'm like,
How?
I just don't want to get because apparently if you're like, oh, I'm trying to get point A to B, but I'm trying to make you care more about this character. Apparently, you give them stuff like that, and then give you solutions. But it's like, listen, maybe it's my human pride, but I'm like, hell no. Also, I'm not giving them any of my ideas.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Once you start writing or doing things, like I have to glaze my work because if not, then it can be used for AI stuff. And so I'm scared of like somebody else using it, And that's already happened where somebody has taken my art and they use it in the most inappropriate way. I was so disgusted. They've made it like very like R18 basically. And I was just like,
Oh,
shut up. This is so gross. And I know I draw like pretty explicit like stuff sometimes, but I'm actually pretty shy when it comes to not safe for work. So seeing that was like, oh, ew.
I mean, there's a big difference between what you. I mean, I haven't seen anything from you like that was that crazy. I don't think. Like,
No, I think even I've tried to had some kind of subtlety to it, but I'm such a shy little weeb. I just don't like have that moment of like I have to draw these two doing the thing.
yeah. Yeah, no, I mean it's frustrating. I can't even imagine as an artist like how frustrating this AI shit is. But you got to just keep reporting
Yeah,
it because it is art theft, you know. Um, and
exactly.
like that's the thing too is they take like you have what people don't realize like well it's AI well they have to generate it based on existing art. Like apparently they're
Yeah.
taking from streamers.
Oh, there was this one incident that it broke my heart. There was this old artist named Quinny, Quinni, and she unfortunately passed away from cancer. And people were taking her stuff and putting it in AI after she
Well,
passed. I'm like,
I'm not
do you
shocked
guys
honestly.
yeah,
People
do
have
you guys have
no.
no decency? Yeah, like they have no pride in what they do and it was just so sad.
Yeah, I mean it's nuts. AI art sucks. That's my position.
Yeah.
I will never use it. I don't want to use it. Like it's not even just about the principle of it, although that is part of it, especially because I have tons of artist friends. But outside of that, like I don't. I remember seeing one post that was like, "You don't realize like being like you the amount of effort that goes into putting these prompts. Like you realize that that's called being a writer, first of all. Second of all, I love having as someone who works as an artist that I could get on the phone and talk to my artists and throw ideas back at each other. And some
Yeah.
my artist has come up with stuff that like I hadn't considered, and that's ended up in my book. Like sometimes when you have human brains working, they'll bounce ideas off of each other,
Mhm.
and it could lead to something better than what you have in mind. So I think that
Exactly.
AI, I'm not threatened by AI art. I think people are going to go, though, with not often quality, but what's most convenient is my fear. And I think humans have a tendency to do that.
Yeah, exactly. I think the AI art is still in its honeymoon phase, where people see the delight in it and see the beauty of doing something quick and easy. But then the reality of the situation is that it may be quick and easy, but it's not beautiful. It's not something that comes from your own mind that can be, admired by others. It's just something that you look at once and you're just like, "Oh, that's kind of nice." And then you start looking deeper and you're like, "Ew, the hair is going into the shirt or something and
Mm.
like the earrings are all blobbed and stuff like that." I'm not saying that artists are also perfect. Like, whew, even I struggle with hands. But
Hands, I heard hands are the most frustrating thing to draw.
oh, they definitely are. So, but at the same time, I know that I made it and I had that intention. And so, yeah, it's in the honeymoon phase and I think people are seeing the glamour in it, but as the years go by, they'll start realizing that it's not it's not right.
No, yeah, absolutely. I'm with you on that. I'm 100% with you on that. AI art, I am not a fan of. Um, but anyway, getting back to, so we've talked about all that. You have your character's Arialla, and you said you're not sure what you would do with the character, but would you ever, like, what would you want to do if you were to decide, or do you not want to talk about that?
Well, actually, Ariella stems from two things. She is an OC for Final Fantasy VII, obviously. And
Oh,
also, she is a character that so there's it's kind of like two Ariellas, ooh, multiple timeline Ariellas.
okay.
But she's one is an OC for Final Fantasy VII, and the other is actually from an original story that I created, and I have some character sheets for. And one day I plan on trying to make a manga out of it, or at least some kind of visual novel.
Oh, awesome. Well, if you ever need a writer or an editor, I know a guy.
Yes. Nice. Yeah, it's one of those like passion projects that I'm not sure if I do want to continue on with
Yeah.
or do I just am happy where I am, but never know. Got to
Yeah.
look forward.
Exactly. Just holding on to ideas. I have so many ideas that I've held on to for years that, like, sometimes the right moment comes and I'm like, oh, here it is. Like,
Yes.
there's
In a
no,
dream.
yeah, or just like something like comes up where it's like, I feel like writing insert genre. Wait a minute. Or like there's a gap in something you're working on. You're like, oh. Now hang on, I have a question. So for the character Final Fantasy VII, is it the daughter of Cloud and Tifa?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Whenever I make original characters for something that I really enjoy, I try to remove them as being like the child of someone. She's actually, I know, okay, guys, my nerdism is coming out. I'm sorry. She is actually an alien that came from the same planet
As
at
Genova.
Genova. And she
Ah.
is coming to Gaia in order to find Genova because Genova has been missing for a millennia. And so
Ooh.
she is trying to figure out what happened to her, what's going on, and she feels like the Genova cells all over the world. So she's trying to bring those also. She's not
That's
exactly a villain or a hero. She's very much in between.
that's
And
really
yeah.
cool. I wouldn't have guessed that because I did think that like it's because there's only one character that's never really explained in terms of aliens. I'm also big into aliens personally. I'm
Yes, me
like,
too.
really? All right, we
Yes,
gotta
that's why
talk
I made
more
her.
often. We gotta talk. We gotta talk more. So do you hang on? Let me ask you the most important question. Do you believe that aliens have been to Earth?
Oh my goodness. All right, so this is gonna sound okay. Just disclaimer, whatever I say here, do not clip it. So I think
The Men in
that
Black are coming for you.
yes, don't show the government. I think yes and no. So I think depictions of angels and stuff like that in the Bible, I thought might have
Oh.
been actual creatures that came from other planets that they could not characterize. So they just thought that they were heavenly creatures. And
Mm.
then the reason why we don't see them now is because aliens are pretty like don't want to, be seen. They're probably tired of us, but maybe also they're died out or I don't know. There's just so many reasons why it could be and could not be. But I am in the in the mindset that yes, there are possibilities that we have or there have been aliens on this
Have
planet.
you seen biblically accurate angels?
Yes, and they're really like scary.
This one, the one wing date, like this video on
Oh no!
Twitter.
Oh god, yeah, I seen that. Oh, it's horrible.
I think it looks cool.
Trigger warning for the people that don't like. Was it the ones that don't like holes everywhere?
That at the, oh my god, like that shit's terrifying.
Oh god, nightmare fuel.
It look, dude, they're cool though. They're really.
Oh, it has a
freaky,
head. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
Just noticed the head on.
Yeah,
I like those. They kind of give me Persona monster vibes, so it's really cool.
See, I'll have you be make you safe in comparison with my alien take. I think not only are aliens real, but the government is hiding them. And come at me, government. All right.
Get
I'm
'em!
kidding.
No,
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Yeah. No, distract. Listen, I'm just diverting from you, so you could,
Yeah. Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
also
yeah.
do. Well, I also do actually genuinely believe that. But that's a different point. But yeah. No, I mean, I just think, listen, like the Roswell incident and all sorts of stuff. And then you know what? Wikipedia sucks. They're so biased. Like if you look at the Wikipedia, like it's been thoroughly debunked, and it's like if you look into the official story, it's like it really hasn't actually.
It really there used to be this old website. I don't know if it's still up, called like the Bob Lazar
Oh, Bob
interview.
Lazar, my man.
And yeah, the fact that he had like explicit photos and I was like super into this more like when I was a kid because I actually had like a fear of aliens. I never had like super fears of anything other than like kind of like normal like heights and drowning, yada yada. But like when it came to like uh entities or unknown entities coming to Earth that I don't know how I can defend myself against that, I had like a huge fear. So I started looking up all over like how I can defend myself.
Yeah, you can defend yourself against creatures most people don't believe in.
Yeah.
That's the thing. The government also screwed us over because they're like, aliens aren't real. And then if like they end up being real and if they had the secrets, like, well, we know their weaknesses, but you didn't tell us. It's like,
Yeah. It's like, how am I going to help myself? This aluminum foil hat, it's not going to do anything.
no, it's not. It's not gonna. Well, you never know. That could be their kryptonite. You know, aluminum foil hats.
Yeah, let me go get some. Let me go to Walmart.
Specifically hats, though. If you use it in any other shape, it's useless.
Yeah, not a gun, just a hat.
Not a gun. No, the gun will work, but you have to be wearing the hat. It amplifies. It's like a Final Fantasy item. It amplifies. It's like they have like the earrings. It's like that. It gives you like enhanced stats.
Science logic says use water. Yes, we have to water gun them.
Yeah, I haven't seen Signs yet, but I love The Sixth Sense.
You should watch Signs. It's so
I know.
good.
I love. Listen, he did. I didn't see his Avatar movie. I have no plans of seeing his Avatar movie, but I do like The Sixth Sense. Like, I love.
It's really good. Yeah.
It's probably one of my favorite movies. You know what? I'll ask you that. What's your favorite movie?
Oh my goodness. My good. That's a really hard question. It's just like, what's your favorite band? What's your favorite this? I'm really kind of an all-rounder in things that I really like. But I will say the first thing that came to mind when you asked that question was The Fifth Element. And I know that's a really weird answer, but I feel like I've watched that movie like a bunch of times. Swan Princess as well. Like I am the whole femininity but can beat somebody up kind of tomboy girl stuff. So I do love my Disney princesses, and I also do like my sci-fi horror and especially horror movies. I really like horror movies.
Oh, me too. My favorite is Halloween.
Oh yeah, like the original.
Oh yeah.
Not like the 20th remake.
No. The 21st remake out. No, I'm kidding. Yeah. No, the
yeah, the horror movies are a little on and off for me. I feel like most of them just don't scare me, so I wouldn't really call them like horrific because I'm so desensitized. But the very first video game, horror game that I played that scared the crap out of me was Silent Hill 3.
I've heard that series is so good. That Resident Evil.
So good. It was yes. I actually have like a love for Silent Hill a little bit more because Resident Evil again doesn't scare me. It's just really cool. I literally like beating up these zombies, but for Silent Hill, it's a psychological horror mixed with horrendous looking like creatures that attack you. And most times you cannot defend yourself. So it's like you have to solve all these puzzles while being chased and oh goodness. Yeah, they are mostly for entertainment. So like I get entertained by like the horror movies, but for me to actually get scared, yeah, Silent Hill 3, there was this one moment where you walk into a door and you hear just like this scream like ah, and you're like, what? So then you look and you find out that this mannequin head just fell down bleeding all over, and you're like, what the crap? That was the first time I felt fear.
That's nuts. I mean, there's I need to play that. I know BioShock has some elements of horror too. That game's
BioShock is
messed.
cool. I only played Infinite.
I've played everything but Infinite. Actually, I need to play it.
Oh,
Yeah. So it sounds to me like you're into some cool horror, and then all that. So all that looks like we had a lot of overlapping interests. Then I mean, I didn't know. So Aliens, you're fellow believer. We got movies, horror movies. I mean, I love those. In terms of games, I do need to play those, but I mean, I love Zelda. I love Final Fantasy VII. Oh, I didn't even finish what I was saying. The ones I'm recommended most highly by people are 6, outside of 7. So it's 6, 9, 10. Those are generally the ones that are like I'm told are like the most essential.
yes.
Well,
I still say like 10 is huge. I think 10 is a good one. And I am going to be very biased and say 6 and 9, not together, but 6 and 9 are great. and and I actually have a small part of my heart that wishes that 4 got better treatment, like as an overall piece of getting like more graphics. Like it did get a DS version of it, but 4 is such a beautiful story. Of the main character's name is Cecil. He goes through kind of like this dark past to a brighter future kind of thing, and it's just his story just really gripped me too. And it has a love triangle. So, and also if you
Yeah.
ever know, if you also ever loved Dragoons, the very first kind of like representation of a dragoon is in that game as the character Kane.
Mm.
I'm sorry. I'm
That's
sorry, Max.
interesting. That's interesting. I'll have to play that one too. I love when we talked about you mentioned shipping and love triangles. I had a conversation with a girl about this the other day. I don't get the whole shipping thing. I don't get like for example the claw T. Like I made it. I think I made a statement that went surprisingly viral where I said something along the lines of like Aerith fans are coping like Cloud and Tifa are clearly the couple, and people are like, yes, Claw T, and it's like I don't even see it that I literally didn't think about it in terms of shipping. I'm just looking at logically where the story is and just absorbing the media, and it's like very clearly written where Cloud and Tifa are the end game. It's not even about like personal preference, although mine does lean towards Tifa. It's the way their character arcs are specifically designed for them to end up together.
Yeah. So, in regards to shipping, I feel like there are different layers to it. Like, for example, for me, I may be a Cloud and Tifa shipper, but I'm not going to go to like every Cloud and Aerith shipper and tell them they're wrong, you know? But then there are others that kind of like, there's always this back and forth between those two specific ships that kind of make like this toxicity in the fandom and that I try to avoid. I see it the same way as you, that I feel like I'm more of like a story shipper. Like even though, like for example, like in Final Fantasy VIII, I really loved Quistis and Squall. I thought that ship was really cute, and in my opinion, would have been better than Squall and Renoa. But I appreciate that they went the Squall and Renoa like route, and will accept that, you know.
I'm
But
gonna look up characters so I can get that reference. I heard 8. I hear mixed things about 8. I hear like 8 is one that I really hear a lot of people go back and forth on.
yeah, that's because 8 is a fantastic game, but the ending is so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so and the main character, if you like kind of like the Naruto Sasuke vibes of the old Sasuke vibes from the early Naruto, where he's like super emo and stuff, then
That's the main
Squall's the character for you. Yeah.
Okay.
But as for shipping in general, I had played the OG. I've read every freaking book that they've made of 7, and I still believe that there was notions of a love triangle, but not exactly pointed as to each other, but it's just kind of like both girls pointed to Cloud.
Yeah.
And I think it's a little unfair to make Cloud make such a hard decision
Oh yeah.
in the beginning when he's not himself.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, when OG spoilers, just just in case people in the have not seen it or played it, the OG has that live stream moment where he
One of the
finally
best parts of
becomes
the game.
whole. Yeah, and his first thing he says is that I did everything for Tifa. I made sure that he
Mhm.
went to the freaking army for her. And yes, their relationship later on isn't a perfect clear cut as like other Final Fantasy characters or other like loving things, but that's kind of what I appreciate about them.
Yeah.
Tifa's there to help him start the process of getting himself fixed, and she will be there till the end, but it's going to be a tough road.
Yep, 100%. That's why I didn't
Yeah.
really like Advent Children, is because they make it like up in the air if they're together, and I'm like, no, they're clearly together at the end of the original game.
Yeah, exactly. And they live together, they sleep in the same bed. Like, I don't think friends sleep in the same bed.
Yeah, I don't think so.
But yeah,
No.
so I actually, it's really sad because again, I don't mind Cloud and Aerith shippers, and I like crack ships myself, but like I've gotten blocked by so many because I ship Cloud and Tifa primarily, and it just makes me sad because I did see some like really pretty art, and I was like liking it, and then the next thing I'm blocked. I'm like, all right,
Well,
I
that
guess.
makes no sense because one of them is objectively true and one isn't objectively true. Like, I'm just being honest. Like, if you think Cloud and Aerith are a better couple for whatever reason, fine. But like objectively, one was written to be a couple, and one wasn't.
I think they described Aerith as kind like Tifa's the girl next door, and then Aerith
Yes.
is the exchange student that's really enticing
Oh,
and serious.
that's
And
a good comparison.
yeah, and so like yes, of course, I think there are moments where Cloud is very enamored with her and thinks like, oh, she's beautiful and kind and things, but at the same time, there are reactions that he has to her in comparison to Tifa that are more kind of like an annoyance than they are um, feeling that security he has with Tifa. And I like that they've portrayed that in both motion and voice acting. And
Yeah.
but yeah, again, I don't care if you ship Cloud and Aerith. To be fair, when I was a kid, I did too. But because I didn't understand the dynamic, I actually had put all of Tifa's personality into Aerith and all of Aerith's personality in Tifa when I was like 4 or 5, thinking
Yeah.
because of how they look, that's how they should act.
Yes,
When I played
that's a
it
lot of
again,
people think that
yeah,
Tifa's the outgoing one and she's not. She's the shy one.
no, she's definitely the shy one. When I got older and was able to comprehend more of what was going on, I was like, oh, I always just like Tifa. I just didn't realize it. But yeah, so again, it's the shipping war in general. It's kind of sad to be honest because it could all be ended if Square Enix just kind of said, "Hey, this is it."
No,
But
because they've already said that years ago.
but they didn't say it as clear as like they don't even put them in like Valentine's Day stuff. So I don't know. Like
Cowards.
I
They
know. I
want the
think
debate to rage on. No, because it's engagement. You have to understand.
yes, exactly. It's negative engagement or positive engagement, no matter how you look at it.
Ugh.
And I don't think it's gonna even be as final, even in the third part. But who knows? Hopefully, even though there are
Better.
moments in Rebirth that make it seem that there will be.
I mean,
But
I'm 6 chapters in, and it's so obvious that it's like even when Cloud and Aerith have a moment, the first thing they always cut to is Tifa's reaction to it.
yeah, and it's kind of like the point of view of Cloud of like how he's viewing her reactions to his actions. And I noticed that a lot in remake. A lot of the times when you are talking to Tifa, it is in Cloud's POV. When there's a
Mm.
question that needs to be asked to her, it is in Cloud's POV 100%. And so he's constantly looking at her and staring at her and wondering what she thinks of him because that is the real Cloud coming out, wondering
Yes.
what she wants from me and what I want from her. And in Rebirth, you do see that a lot. Again, I know you're not super far, but Cloud seems to always find himself relying on what her idea of things are, of what she feels comfortable doing. And that's
Absolutely.
always why I like their relationship too. Because Cloud is someone who's like me, who's very introverted.
Yeah.
And and so whenever the extrovert comes and pulls me out of my comfort zone, I get really scared and almost more guarded than I was before. And so
Yeah.
that is kind of like how it is with Aerith. But I do have a best friend who is very like that. She is extroverted as heck, and she pulls me out, and then I do feel uncomfortable at first, and then it does get better and better. But that initial uncomfortable feeling is very hard to ignore. As for
I-
Tifa, she prioritizes Cloud's like his internal struggles first. Like even
Mm.
before herself, she'll be like, "Did you eat? Did you feel well? Did you do this? Are
Yes,
you
she's
okay?"
selfless. That's what I like
Yes.
about her. She's selfless.
And so that's the awful thing that I feel of like she does so much. She deserves it. She deserves to be rewarded for actually caring about him internally and outwardly. It's
And that's
just
why I'd
such a
love to
strong
do
bond.
a short, either a short film or something, just literally just that would be like I'd want it to be natural. Like I don't like just projecting what I want, but just like a natural conclusion to where their relationship would go
Yeah.
after FF7. Like I've thought about that a lot. That's what I'd want to do.
Yeah, because there's a book called On the Way to a Smile.
Is it any
And
good?
I so I am gonna be again biased and say that a lot of the Nojima books are good. There are some, like I would say look for the ones by Nojima specifically. And in that one, she does ask Cloud, how do you feel about us? How do you feel about what we have? And he says, well, we're a family and we'll always be a family. And like for him to say things like that, it's just so hard for him, but he easily expresses it to Tifa. Yes, he probably won't ever be like that one guy that's like, I love you forever, like I love you, whatever. But he will be able to appreciate that she is the one that's always there for him. And I think that's how their relationship works.
Wait a minute. In the original game, it's pretty explicit that he has feelings for her.
Oh yeah, 100%. Especially the live stream.
So they walk back.
moment.
No, but even outside of that, they do it in the original game.
Yeah.
They do. They literally do. Like there's
It's
a
funny
scene-
because there's the high affection route and then the low affection route for that. The low affection route is that they don't cuddle, like, well, quote unquote. Cuddle.
Yeah, exactly. The thing is, and I talk about this in my video essay. That scene, it's like they cuddle, but then why does she have an embarrassed reaction when she's caught cuddling?
Yeah, people are like, oh, they played Uno.
Yeah, exactly. They played Uno.
They played Uno. It's like,
Yeah, that's why she.
sure.
They saw her cuddle. So embarrassing. That's not what they saw, guys. Like,
Yeah,
come
even
on.
if it's like a makeout session, like there's no way that she's not gonna be embarrassed if nothing happened.
Yeah, exactly. It's clear. Like that's what bothers me is that it's all the subsequent media is like trying to keep it. Like, oh well, there's some mystery. It's like no, if you play the original in a vacuum, there's no mystery.
Oh, and there's an interview where they wanted to make the scene more explicit, where they both came out of the chocobo
thing.
yeah. And then Yuffie's like, so yeah, there are moments that even before, I actually feel like Tifa is even more involved. Tifa and Aerith are way more involved in the story this time around than they were before. Before it was extremely Cloud focused, but now they're giving room for everyone else, and it's just so nice seeing that relationship.
Now I might I was considering starting a different channel for gaming. I'm not sure what people want, but I might live stream some FF7 Rebirth today. I don't know. We'll see. I'm getting the Corel part. But it's been really fun, man. This has been a lot of fun. I want to definitely talk to you about this stuff again. Honestly.
Yeah, no problem.
And when I finish it, this has been a lot of fun. Is there anything you want to shout out? I feel like we never even talked about your art that much.
Did we? We did a bit. I'm a huge Final Fantasy nerd. I can talk about it for hours. If you want to get me in a room to say anything, that's gonna be it.
Okay. Well, so all right, that's how you get her. But
sing Final Fantasy to me.
So everyone make sure to check out her art link. I think I linked it in the chat. Link is in the description. You got a print store, it looks like.
Oh, there's Arialla there, top left.
Wait, where?
The icon that I have top left, that's actually my character for 7. It's yeah, that's an old drawing. I need to remake it. But yeah.
Because I was like, okay, because at first, like, I just looked at it as a glance. I was like, oh, that's Sephiroth. So, okay, that's cool.
That's Sephiroth. Well, yeah, I kind of based her the whole, like, white hair. I have to, again, redraw her.
That's cool. We got... Yeah, see, this compared to what a lot of other artists have drawn of Tifa, this stuff, your stuff is pretty tame in terms of... There you go. Like, and these are... You can get all these... And do you ship them out?
So this website is actually really, like, nice. They do everything for you. And artists get actually... a huge amount of the profits as opposed to other places because this website was actually created by artists themselves.
Oh,
so they do all the shipping, they do all of the printing. It's really nice and comfortable, and they also have like kind of like a hard way to get into the website. You have to make some kind of promo, kind of and share some arts that you've already done, but it is worth it. They're very nice people.
All right, I'm gonna have to check this out. Is this an homage to the cover?
So yes, so there was actually this what do you call it? There was a scene with Tifa, like a whole bunch of scenes that was supposed to be put in remake where you
I
play as
heard
her.
that. It was
And
after
so
Cloud Falls, right?
yeah, so this was supposed
Ah.
to be her going to Don Conero's place by herself.
See, why did they leave that out, but they kept the stupid train part? That's a piss. That train part was like, is that any? Have you ever met anyone that's like that like the train part?
I like the cut scenes in it, but doing like
You like the part
everything
where
else.
they cuddle Cloud's arms. Which I like that part too, but that's about it. Like
Well, I
otherwise,
like the scene with Aerith. That actually was one of the first moments that made me cry in remake. Was when she's like, "Hello, somebody find me," and she's playing like hide and seek, but nobody finds her until Tifa and Cloud like hold their hands out. It was just such a warm feeling of how Aerith has become such an important person to both of them that it just I don't know, that part made me cry and I was just like, "Oh, this is beautiful." But overall, yeah, the scenes were kind of like a little I feel like made it a little too long. But
yeah. I mean,
yeah.
it's also you seeing all the other Avalanche guys getting bombarded with explosives in the background. You're like, dude, they're literally dying. Why are we doing this?
Yeah.
Like that bothered me.
Yeah,
Let's
the
see this one.
pacing.
Did you have to do a quick turnaround time on this?
What do you mean?
Like, cause were you trying to like get the trend? You're like, oh shit, I gotta get.
I was actually already drawing her.
Oh, you were.
And and then it came out because there was already like kind of like leaked pictures of some of these outfits.
Mhm.
And so I happened to see one on Twitter and I was like, ah, screw it.
Were
I'll
you
just draw
searching
it.
for it?
No,
Were you-
I was just on my timeline. I swear like most like leaks that I saw were I didn't want any leaks. And then this one person sends me
That
a
one I didn't
DM.
mind getting through. I'll say that one.
The DM, he just sends me a DM. He's like, "This is the leak," and I'm like, "Are you serious?" I just said I don't want any, so I had to like block him. It was so
Yeah,
weird.
what an asshole. I haven't seen, luckily, really much of anything. I've seen like possible hints, but I'm like, we'll see. I so far I've been don't want to jinx anything, but
Knock on
knock on wood.
wood.
But I've been pretty good, honestly, with avoiding spoilers. It's been actually really cool. I remember when Endgame came out. Oh my god, couldn't avoid spoilers of that.
Oh
Anyway,
yeah.
check out her website. Oh, you know what? I'll show a hint of So if I mentioned earlier that I'm doing an homage cover for like a variant, limited edition variant cover for my comic for Final Fantasy VII. So if that sounds interesting to you, and I'll put the link in the chat. Here's a mock-up for it. It's not there. We're gonna add the
Oh, that's
logo.
cool.
Yeah, so it's my character. There's a scene where he stands in front of a reactor, a futuristic reactor, and I'm like, I gotta do it. I gotta
Do it.
Seven cover. So if that sounds interesting, check that out. Anyway, without further ado, I think we'll call it a wrap now. I'd love to have you on again. This has been so much fun. Thank you so
Yeah, it
much for
has.
coming on. And how I'm gonna close out the stream. Is there anywhere else you want people to follow you?
I guess I would say Twitter. I'm really bad at like checking Instagram. Every once in a while, I'd be like, "Oh crap, yeah, I should probably post that on Instagram too." But Twitter is the place that you'll find me the most.
Gotcha. So everyone make sure to follow Arialla Draws and tune in tonight. I'm going to be having my buddy Nick Capone on for an interview. If you like that kind of art of hot chicks, you're going to like this comic that I'm working on. I'm interviewing my buddy tonight. So subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already, or follow me on Twitter. And most importantly, sign up for the mailing list for my new comic, and I'll see you guys next time. And keep an eye out. I do have that Final Fantasy video essay that I'm going to be posting on my channel. So if you're interested in that, check it out. I may even be doing some live streaming on here. All kinds of stuff I got going on. Make sure to stay in the loop, and I'll see you guys next time. And I should have you on for a discussion at some point. Once I finish the game,
Yes.
I'd love to have you on for a discussion for it. We'll get
That'd
a
be
group
great.
together. And anyway, see you guys. I'm going to play the trailer for my comic as we head out. Peace out.
Bye.
When the whole world was dragged into World War III, brave men like my father fought on the front lines. And they weren't alone. That was 20 years ago. Now it's up to us to carry on their legacy. And every so often, the earth from which we come gives way for something new, something greater to be born. And with them, even greater threats to face. Bring it on! Phenomenal. For you, Dad. For you.